2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 things. Under each of those, you should have notes. Today, we are adding a 10th thing. Marketing. I left some notes from the first class, but some of them you're going to need to give me. Marketing is generally thought of as advertising. When I was in business school, we had marketing, but it was, we did team groups. When we would come up with a newspaper ad, or we would take a piece of poster paper and do an ad for a shoe store. You know, it was more of an art class than it was a business class. All right? And the, don't laugh while I'm talking.
No, it's not.
Okay, all right. It distracts me. I assume you're talking to somebody else. So what do you think of when you think of advertising? Handouts, print ads, which is newspaper and magazines. You know, I went to a doctor's office yesterday, and the magazines in there were a year old. You know, but I used to like to go to a doctor's office a few minutes early so I could read People magazine. You know, I mean, because I didn't subscribe to it. Well, there was a People magazine there that was a year old. So magazines just aren't important anymore. Billboards on the side of trucks, pictures in stadiums. You might could think of 50 things that were regular advertising. And that was considered what marketing was. Well, what changed it? What changed marketing?
Social media.
Social media, what else?
TVs.
TVs, what else? Radios.
The internet.
Internet. Okay, same thing first class said. That's in your lifetime. What changed it in my lifetime? What changed it from the start with? Yeah.
Papers.
Papers. Well, what changed, I want you to think about this seriously, what changed is geography. The geography changed. All right? In my lifetime, I was born in 1955. I was a baby boomer. All right? You had villages and towns. And in your village, in your town, and I'm sure it's the same in Sweden and Norway, in your village and in your town, you had a women's clothing store, and you had a men's clothing store, and you had a shoe store, and you had a grocery store, you know, and you had one school, and you had a couple of churches, and everybody bought from everybody else. And so the advertising could be in the newspaper. Now, I've been in Newberry 11 years, and when I moved here 11 years ago, because my son and daughter-in-law had their first child, so my wife and I moved here, the Newberry Observer was a nice newspaper. I mean, it was a good, thick newspaper. Now it's like 3 or 4 pages because it's online. And so newspapers have totally changed. Well, why did they do that? It's because in the villages and towns, all of a sudden, those became cities. And then the cities became metropolis. People moved. People moved to bigger cities. People moved from the north to the south. People moved from the east to the west. And nobody moves from a big place to a little place. People move from little places to big places until they retire. And when you move from a little place to a big place, advertising changed. Right? At the same time these movements were going on, the idea of handouts or print ads or billboards became less important, and exactly what you said, radio, TV, social media, and internet became more important. Even the TV. Netflix is putting in ads this week, this month. All right, so you've got the streaming TV with no ads. Well, now there are going to be ads there. And so we've come up with new marketing. And when you take marketing your junior year, you will have all of the statistics as to how many people look at social media and how many people look at Facebook and how many people look at Instagram. You don't need to know that for this class, but you do need to know that that's where people are going for their marketing. All marketing, wherever it goes, has the 4 Ps. If you don't learn anything else, if I give you, marketing is one of those things, if I give you a final exam, it's really, really easy for me to put one sentence in there: the corporation or partnership you founded needs to market its product, period. All right, that means you're going to have to tell me about marketing. You're going to have to tell me about the 4 Ps. 4 Ps are price. How do we set price? How are prices set?
Market value or federal value, or however the government adjusts it?
Well, I'll do it this way. The GDP and the PCI has some effect on it, okay? The economics, whether we're in a good economy or a bad economy, has some effect on it. But what, on a simpler method, how do you set price? Okay, if profit equals revenue minus expenses, I would suggest to you that your expenses are more important in setting the price than what you're looking for in revenue. You have to set a price enough to pay for your expenses. Maybe higher than you want. But if profit equals revenue minus expenses, you're not going to set a price to bring in revenue if it doesn't pay for your expenses. So expenses has something to do with it. What else has something to do with price?
Consumer value.
Consumer value. Who said that? All right. And how do you determine consumer value?
How, by how much the consumers are taking in, by how much they're buying.
All right. And what's that called? Come on, you know it. Supply and demand. Okay? Your consumer value is determined by how much demand there is, or how much supply there is. You know, there wasn't much demand for gallon, like the wrestlers carry, the gallon jugs of water. There wasn't much demand for that in Tampa and St. Pete until 2 weeks ago. Okay, and all of a sudden, those gallon jugs of water were needed and expensive. And people could charge what they wanted to for them because there wasn't any water because of the hurricane. So the supply and demand sets consumer value. What else? Competition. Competition can help set value. Help set prices. Is that just $1 less or the same? You know, what are your competitors charging? So prices are set by internal revenue minus expenses, and external competition, supply and demand, and economics. Does anybody know what a loss leader is? Sometimes prices are set leaders. That's a big time word. It's very important. You never see it anywhere, but you see it done all the time. A lost leader. You see a store that has an Instagram ad, or it might have an ad on the front of the store, 2015 Jordans, $20. So you get out of your car and you go into the store and you find out they do in fact have some 2015 Jordans at $20. But they have 10 of them and they're in the middle of all of the ones that cost $400, and the only sizes they have are size 7s. That's a lost leader. It brings you into the store because you think you're going to be getting a bargain. Now, lost leaders on the internet is everything you see. Coupons, discounts, special sales. Those are lost leaders. What do they want you to do? Come into store or click. Now, why do they want you to click? Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. Give me some more. Snapchat. Do they pay, let's see, what do you have on the back of your thing? Lacrosse sticks. Who sells lacrosse sticks? Give me a name.
STX.
Huh?
STX.
STX? Oh, that's what it means. All right, STX Lacrosse. STX Lacrosse, do they pay to be on those platforms? To have an ad?
Yes.
No. No. Facebook gives them a free ad with a box for your email. And you click on that ad. And when you click on that ad, STX Lacrosse pays Facebook. It's called pay per click. They give away the space in order to have people click on it. And then every time you click on it, you have to pay Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. Now, it may only be 3 or 4 cents, but it gets clicked on 10,000, 100,000 times. And that's how they make their money. Why do they only charge 3 or 4%, 3 or 4 cents? What else are they getting? My email is golferbanks@gmail. And leonbanks@newberry.edu. If I go to an ad on Facebook or Instagram for erectile dysfunction, and I put my email in it, I get 20 ads in 10 minutes. That's how quick it is. Your name is the deal. The names are put in groups of 1,000 and then groups of 10,000, and they are bundled. And those bundled names are sold on the black market. It's not illegal. It's not black like being illegal. It's on a market that you never see. And so there are name brokers that buy from Facebook 100,000 names, and they sell those 100,000 names to startup companies to everything. If it's from STX Lacrosse and you put your name on there, they sell your name to every company that makes spikes, that makes shoes, that makes pads, that makes face masks, maybe to small colleges. Okay, that's where they go. The names are important. The pay-per-click and the names. So not only do we have new ways, radio, TV, social media, and internet, we have new products. It's not just the lacrosse stick, it's the name as well. All right, placement. What does placement mean? Got price, placement, promotion. What's placement mean? I mean, just on its simplest form, what's it mean?
Where's that on the shelf?
Where? Where do you put your ad? We've pretty much already answered that. Online. Social media. And this is a big one, and you'll never see this in the textbooks, but word of mouth, all right? Word of mouth is part of placement. They have people outside the Atlanta Braves stadium, handing out a hat or handing out a glove. Tell people to buy Coca-Cola. Tell people to buy Wilson hats. All right, that's word of mouth. And that word of mouth, if it's a good product, it goes through everything. All right? When I came on campus 6 years ago, I should have invested in yoga pants and hoodies. But I didn't. I would be rich. All right, promotion. What's promotion? What's the difference between promotion and the marketing, the advertising?
Promotion is pushing it out there, like to others, so other people can see, like a broad audience can see.
Okay. Promotion is an area of where you are using your primary sources to get it to the public. As it may be to a set of age, it could be age, it could be gender, it could be Medicare. Promotion is a limiting of the price and the placement. Okay, we know how to do prices, we know how to do placement. Now we're going to promote it. Who are we going to promote it to? Well, we're not going to send Medicare forms to dorm rooms. We're going to send Medicare forms to one half of Oakland Mill, but not the other half of Oakland Mill. Okay, and I get a Medicare form in my mailbox at Oakland Mill every day. All right? And 100 yards away is your mailboxes, and you're not getting them. Okay, so that's an example of the promotion. Finally, this could be first. I like it last. How do you choose your product? Well, the simplest answer is what you got. I mean, what product do you have? What product do you already have? This lecture isn't intending you to go out and invent something new. Okay, what do you already have that you could sell? other type of products. Other people's product. What's a good example of selling somebody else's product?
Like Walmart does it all the time with other brands.
Well, Walmart and Amazon do it all the time. Okay? You become basically a warehouse, a clearinghouse, where you're set up to receive products and you sell them out. Maybe you're a lacrosse warehouse and you receive every type of lacrosse item made from any company in the world. And you set them up and you organize them and you promote them and you sell them out the other end of the door. All right? And so you are a third party. Bitcoin. You're selling things you don't even own. Okay? You're selling things you can't touch, you can't see. I'm still not sure it's a scam. Right? But I've got a lot of friends that are doing it. And I've got some that won't touch it. But one of the things that amazes me is you sell it and you don't own it. The other thing with products, find a niche and fill it. Find out what somebody wants that nobody is making. What does somebody want that nobody is making? All right, that's how the influencers on Instagram are getting rich. That's how the salespeople on YouTube are getting rich. They're finding some insignificant thing and they're selling it for a reasonable price, and they make their money on the quantity. It may be a cosmetic, it may be a clothing item, it may be a particular type of shoe. So you find a niche and fill it. Again, competition. Are you going to compete against somebody, or are you going to try to do something they're not doing? Your product can determine the competition. Now, we got into this discussion this morning. I didn't start it, but it kind of kept going. When do you ever have a product that you don't have a price for, that you give away? Why would you do that? What is Elon Musk doing right now that's going to change the way everybody in this room operates a year from now?
Starlink?
Huh?
Starlink?
Yes. Starlink, satellites. Every time he sends a SpaceX up, they throw out the window thousands of satellites that are about as big as this mouse. And sooner or later, when he sends up enough SpaceX and he throws out the window enough satellites, there's going to be these little satellites circling the Earth. What are they for? They're for Wi-Fi. All right, you won't use Wi-Fi that we're paying for. You'll use the satellite. And if I want to send a final exam to Sweden or Norway, it's going to go to space, and then it's going to go to Sweden or Norway. Instead of going to Washington, to London, to you know, to wherever Sweden and Norway are. So we're going to have satellite links. Now, why would he give it away? Because I think he has not announced that he'll give it away, but I think he will. I don't think there'll be a price for it. I think it'll be free. Why?
Those that need, and they can't afford the good Wi-Fi, so everybody's kind of on an even playing field.
Well, kinda. Think that through.
He won't have many competitors.
Right. He can give it away, and what's going to happen to AT&T and Verizon and T-Mobile? They're going to go down and down and down until they disappear. All right? Because people will use Starlink. Now, when that happens, the government is probably going to tell him he can't do that, and there'll be a lawsuit over whether it's a monopoly, and he will claim he's saving the world, and he ought to be able to do it. So those are all legal questions. But he's giving them away because he wants people to use it. He's also giving it away, revenue, price, profit equals revenue minus expenses. He's also giving them away because they're already paid for. Okay? He doesn't have to have somebody to pay him to use the satellite because he's already paid for them when he made them. So he's throwing something up there that he doesn't have to get his expenses for. What will he get that he can make money on if he wants to?
Charge a price for it.
He can charge a price for it, but what will he get even without having to charge a price for it? I just erased it. What did I just erase? Names. Names. Okay? I don't send my wife an email or a text that says, I love you. I assume when I do that, somebody in China reads it. Okay? I mean, I just assume that. I can't prove it, and you know, but it just doesn't bother me. And if I put something on the internet that I wish I hadn't put on there, and China knows about it, well, I mean, the hell with it. China knows about it. Right? But if I use Starlink, Elon Musk is going to know that Leon Banks used Starlink, and he sent a text to Ann Banks asking her to stop and buy some Coca-Cola. Now, what's he going to do with that name? When he gets 10,000 of them, he's going to sell them to Coca-Cola. And I'm going to start getting Coca-Cola ads because Elon Musk has my name and knows that I drink Coke. Okay, this is all combined. Marketing is a new deal for your generation. It's a new deal. My generation, it was figuring out what to put in the newspaper. For your generation, it is figuring out what product, but where to put the product in cyberspace and how to make money on it, not only by selling the product, but by receiving names as well. Everybody understand that? Okay? So now, I put on your exam, put on your final exam, whatever company you formed, whether it was a partnership or a corporation, the CEO has determined that that product needs to be marketed. Right? And so that is a hint that you've got to talk about the 4 Ps. And if you simply say marketing is the 4 Ps, price, placement, promotion, product, that's a B answer. So you've got to tell me a little bit about each one to bump it up to an A.